Last minute data analysis, page 3 of 5. Let's see if we can break these guys down as quickly as possible. So you get this document for homework. You're like, all right, first of all, how many questions do I have to deal with? Because I got 15 minutes of time. I'm going to squeeze in some SAT prep. I got this last minute business. 5 questions should take me about 2.5 minutes to discover which are my weaknesses, which ones I'm unfamiliar with. And then the ones I do own, I don't have to look at those again. Let's get our business started. Question number 14. I'd say this is a medium level question. Oh, where is my magical wand? There we go. Magical wand. Let's get busy. Let's go blue. So I've got my chart number 14. I'm seeing that I have to analyze the information that's being given to me carefully. Analyze it. All right. We got data values. We have frequency. I know this is a medium level question. It can't be too bad. So data value, what does that mean? Just the value of the number 6, 7, 8. I see it's in ascending order. Thank you very much. The frequency, what does that mean? The number of times the number 6 repeated was 3 times. The number of times the number 7 repeated was I'm sorry, 3 times. The number of times number 8 repeated was 8 times. So in other words, if I was to take this chart and then write it all out, it'd be like this: 3 6s, 3 7s, and 8 8s. You guys get the idea? But rather than have the entire list, they put it into this chart so you can easily understand what the heck is going on. All right, now that I understand that, let's go into the question. And it's asking me, the frequency table summarizes 57 data values. So that means I know that these are going to add up to 57. So right now I'm prepared because this is a data set question. Probably this is going to be about averages. Continue reading. What is the maximum data value in the data set? That's so weird. What's the maximum data value? Well, it gives me data value there. Which one is the biggest one? Number 14. So the answer to this question is just simply 14. Now, why is this a medium level question? It seems like a lot of students misread the question. Maybe they thought the answer was supposed to be 11. I bet you money a lot of students thought 11 was the best answer, but it's not. 14. Now, they gave us answer choices. I'll bet money 11 was in there. 14, probably the average of both sides, just designed to confuse students. All right, let's keep on rolling. Question number 19. This is considered a hard question. A lot of students answered incorrectly. We're given a table. Analyze the table. I do notice they said there's 17 restaurants shown, so I know that the total on the right-hand side is definitely going to equal 17. All right, let's continue going. On the left-hand side, we have the number of employees. Oh, they got ranges 2 to 7, 8 to 13, 14, 19. But on the right-hand side, they're shown as the number of restaurants. So how many restaurants has 2 to 7 employees? 2 restaurants. How many have 8 to 13 employees? 4 restaurants, and so on and so on. Basic, easy chart to understand. Let's go into the question. Which of the following could be the median number? Remember, we talked about that in the previous page for data sets. The median number means the number in the middle. Now, be careful. The median number of what? Of employees. So it's all about of employees. So it's all about these guys. Now, the median number is going to be the number that's in the middle. On the right hand side, they showed us the number of restaurants. So since this left side is in ascending order, well, going top to bottom, it's ascending, right, in order. And then on the right hand side, we have the number of restaurants. Let's cross off the biggest and the smallest. We have 2 restaurants with 2 to 7, but now we go to the biggest, 26 to 31. We have 2 of those guys. So that kills these guys. Now, my next number from the top, I'm going to cross off 4. Now I'm going to cross off 4 of the 7, which will leave me with 3 left over. All right, if I have that left over, now I'm going to cross off the 2 here. If I cross off 2 out of the 3, what does that leave me with? 1 restaurant left over, which have to be in the range of 20 to 25 employees, which is the best answer. D is in double trouble. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Owned. Next question. Question number 9. We know question number 9 is like on the border of easy and medium. They give us a data set X and they give us a data set Y. All right, what's the big deal between them? Just analyze the numbers before you read anything. I got 5, 9, 9, and 13. The other one I have 5, 9, 9, 13, but I have an additional number, 27. More than likely, they're going to ask me about the average of these. They could ask me for the modes, the difference between the modes, etc. It's the same old stupid questions. All right, here we go. The list gives the values in data sets X and Y, which you've already seen. Which statement correctly compares? Oh, they want to compare the mean or the average of data set X to the mean of data set Y. Immediately, students are going to figure out what is the average of the first data set, and they're going to figure out what is the average of the second data set. Pause. What's similar about the data sets? These guys right here. So if I didn't have that 27 data set Y, wouldn't the averages be exactly the same? Yes. But if I include that number 27 in the second, which is bigger, then what's going to happen to my average? My average is going to go up or down. It's going to go up. So data set Y would be greater for the average. The mean of data set Y is going to be greater than the mean of data set X. That's it. It's very theoretical. But if you want to do the extra work, figuring out the averages for both, be my guest. But if you know the basics of this, if they added a bigger number, then it's going to go up. What if data set Y, they included 1 instead of the number 27? Then the average is going to go down for data set Y compared to data set X. So which one is going to be the best answer for this? For these questions, always answer from the bottom up. There is not information to compare the means. No, that's fake because we can figure out the means for both. What about C? The means of data set X and Y are equal. No, that is fake because you have an extra number. They're never going to be equal. So it's going to be between A and B. Answer choice B reads, the mean of data set X is less than the mean of data set Y. That's what we said. X is less than Y, so therefore B is our best answer. Woo! All right, next question. Blowing through these, baby. Another data set question. What's the deal with this one? The dot plots represent the distribution and values of data sets A and B. We were expecting that. Now let's compare the two, data set A and compare it to data set B. What's similar between both of them? We got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The other one has 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Are the same values. What about the dots? Are they spread out exactly the same? No, they are. They're spread out differently. Notice the middle. This one has 3 13s. This one only has 1 13. Or this one has 1 10. This one has 2 10s. So therefore, numbers going to be a little bit different. All right, now let's go into the question and figure out what they want us to figure out. Now, this is a Roman numeral question. Whenever you see Roman numeral questions, what I like to do is dummy answer, especially when I know this is also considered a hard question. I'm going to dummy an answer, flag the question, and then move. So let's say I hit question 24, but I got 3 more questions left. Then I'm going to flag this guy. Once I get to 25, 26, 27, I'm at the end. This paper-based version is 27 questions. Digital version of the SAT is 22. If I get to the end, then I can back up and check my answer for this one and settle down, knowing that Roman numeral questions take time. All right, let's test these guys. If I test Roman numeral number 2, would it work? The standard deviation of dataset A is equal to the standard deviation of dataset B. All right, the standard deviation. The standard deviation, basically, just the basics. I don't want to get too technical with standard deviation because there's a formula to it that you don't need to know. They're not testing deep standard deviation rules at all. What they're saying, standard deviation, if I was to take the number 16, right? One number 16, and then subtract the average. Let's say my average is 13. Then I go 16 minus 13 is going to equal 3. So that would be my standard deviation, but I would have to figure out the average. I'm just estimating that the average is 13. Now, to figure out the average, you're going to have to add all these guys up. So it's 1 times 10, 3 times, I'm sorry, 4 times 11, 2 times 12 to figure it out. I'm not going to do that because I know basics. Here are your basics. Remember the distribution of all this? There's 110, there's 2 10s, and there's 4 11s, 4 11s, but then you have 2 12, 2 12, but you have 3 13s and 1 13. The standard deviation is definitely going to be different when you have that happen. If the standard deviations are going to be exactly equal to each other, then you're going to have the dots on data set A match the dots of data set B. So you have 110, 4 11s, 2 12s, 3 13s, exactly the same on the other side. 110, 4 11, 2 12s, and 3 13s. We don't have that. So the standard deviation is never going to be equal. So we can get rid of Roman numeral 2 answers. Die, gone. All right, now we have to test Roman numeral 1. You see why I skip these and I come back to them? Is this correct? The median of data set A is equal to the median of data set B. All right, what's the median? The number that sits right in the middle. So the median of data set A, we cross off the smallest number, big number. 4 of the next smallest numbers, 4 of the next biggest numbers. The next big smallest number, you got 2 12s. We cross off the next 2 biggest numbers. What number do we have sitting in the middle? Woo, woo, woo. It's going to be 13. So that is my median for data set A is 13. What about data set B? Cross out these two, cross out these four, cross out these two. What do you have left over? You also have 13. So are they equal to each other? Yes. So our answer is A, not D. Done. But do you understand why when you come to what do you call it? Roman numeral questions. Skip it. Come back. They're designed to steal your time. And they're testing basic concepts. Why is it question number 24? Because students probably got messed up in trying to figure out the average for these guys and then figure out standard deviation. Or maybe they forgot what standard deviation is. The standard deviation, the basics is taking a point, any point, and then subtracting the average, right? And you're going to get the standard deviation. Let's say that is for this guy. Then you'll do the same thing data set B. You're going to take a point, right? You take a point of data set B, subtract the average of data set B, and then you're going to get that standard deviation. Or what they're going to have you do is compare the two standard deviations. Would they be equal? Would one be greater than the other, smaller than the other? That's as deep as it's going to get. Once you understand that it's all about this stuff, you own standard deviation questions. All right, next one. We got something similar to it. Rather than show us something like that, oh, actually, they are showing something like that. So we got another data set question. This is question number 17, which means it's going to be hard as well, but an earlier hard question, not like a deep hard question. All right, examine class A. What do we notice is similar to class B? Well, let's take a look at the actual values. For class A, they're shown as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But then for class B, they're shown as 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, these are different numbers. So what do we do with these guys? I don't know yet. But we do know that there's different numbers. Now look at the layout of the dots. 1 and 2 for this guy is just one each. And then it goes to 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And it does the same thing for class B. 1, 1, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So there's the same distribution, but different numbers. And also notice, that's why this is a harder question. Also notice that the distribution numbers on both sides, they have a difference of 1. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. The other is 4 to 15, 15 to 16, 16 to 17. Let's go into the question. Each dot plot shown represents the number of glue sticks brought in by each student for two classes, Class A and Class B. All right, they represent glue sticks, fine. Which statement best compares the standard deviations of the numbers of the glue sticks brought in by each student for these two classes? Oh, here we go, the standard deviations. So the average student is going to try to figure out, oh, what's the average for Class A? And then take a point like 7, subtract the average. And then for Class B, they're going to do the same. All right, but let's take a look at the answer choices and see what they're showing us, right? So from the bottom up, let's cross out what's obviously going to be wrong. There is not enough information to compare these standard deviations. That is false. We have enough information to compare the standard deviations. There is enough information. Always remember that. With a hard question, this answer choice is always going to be wrong. If you have a hard question that says, oh, no answer can be determined, kill it. It's always going to be wrong. A hard question would never have the kind of an answer because the average student would bite on, oh, I can't figure it out, so there's not going to be an answer. I'll go with that answer. It's always going to be wrong. Answer choice C, the standard deviation of the number of glue sticks brought in by each student in Class A is greater than the standard deviation of each number of glue sticks brought in by each student in Class B. Can it be greater than Class B? Does that make sense? Notice the distribution. Again, this is recognition and reaction. Remember, we have 1, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the other side is 1, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The distribution is the same. That's one thing. Now you notice the actual values of each one. 1 grows plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. The other one's doing the same thing, plus 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So if you do figure out the average between the two, they're going to pretty much have an average. But if you take the standard deviation, you subtract it from the average, they're going to have the same standard deviation. One will not be greater than the other. So therefore, C is wrong. B, now we have B and A left over. B reads the standard deviation of the number of glue sticks brought in by each student for Class A is equal to the standard deviation of the number of glue sticks brought in by each student in Class B. Notice we have matching charts. We have differences of 1 for each one. B is the answer for this question. Now check out A. The standard deviation for the number of glue sticks brought in by each student for Class A is less than the standard deviation of the glue sticks brought in by each student for Class B. No, that cannot be the answer, just like C cannot be the answer. Now, remember the previous question? I told you, would the standard deviations be equal to each other in this case? Why are they not equal? Because we have a different distribution. 1, 4, 2, 3. This guy is 2, 4, 2, 1. The distribution is different. Now notice each one. What is the value difference, right? 1, 1, 1. The other one is 1, 1, 1. But what happens? The distributions are different. So therefore, you cannot have them equal to each other. And that is it. Remember, this question is not standard deviation. That is the median. But standard deviations would certainly be different here, but they're equal here. Why? Same distribution and same difference of values. And there you go. And I think that wraps up this page. So for a lot of students, especially at the last minute, getting familiar with these guys, notice they're upper type of questions for data analysis. On the previous page that we worked on, very similar. But if you really want to destroy the test, thankfully, data analysis is one of the fewer given questions in the exam. But if you get very familiar with these guys, that's how you boost up your score in the exam. Again, guys, like, comment, share, and you can especially subscribe. You can just sub it. If you sub it, then you'll be alerted to new videos that come out. And if you need any access to the documents that are on here, just text me 786-877-7231 and text me D/A. Bang. I'll catch you later.